Jessica Burmack in the newsroom. A massive police investigation is underway after the discovery of a woman's body in a field on the Roseland Peninsula. Jack Enright reports.
The dead woman's body was found by a holidaymaker at Ruan High Lanes at around 20 to 3 this afternoon. She phoned police, who have now surrounded the area around the village, which lies around 5 miles south of Truro. Officers say the woman had a number of stab wounds on her body.
My first idea that something might have been wrong was when I saw a lot of police vans go down the same road that she walked down, and I was very, very shaky. 2 policemen got out of the car and came to the door and told me that Mum had been found dead.
Come on, sweetheart. Another day, another dollar.
Why can't it be another day, another $1 million? That's what I want to know. Wouldn't mind getting up for work then.
I think Lee would have been killing around today.
Hasn't said. Anyway, you've just seen him, Mum.
Can't see enough of him, you know that. First grandchild's always special.
She absolutely adores her grandson. She was looking forward to him starting to walk and talking.
Bye.
If I hadn't have gone to work that day, if I'd been able to spend it with Mum, I would have told her that I loved her, because we don't say that to each other very often.
Around lunchtime that day, a local woman noticed a stranger walking near Ruan High Lanes on the road from Truro to St Maur's.
As I approached him, he sort of turned around and looked at me and just looked odd.
3 weeks ago, could this have been you? 5'10", early 30s, short hair, square-jawed, dark eyebrows.
When he looked at me, I just remember thinking, I wouldn't pick you up even if you were hitchhiking.
I knew Linda quite well. I used to go to school with her. She didn't use the garage all that regular. I believe at the time it was about 1 o'clock-ish.
Thanks, love.
Thank you. I was late paying my petrol bill, so I drove in, and Lynn was just getting into her car there, and I went over to her, and, you know, that week I hadn't seen her for about 3 or 4 months, I suppose.
Hi, Linda. How you doing? Oh, baby seat in the back, I see. Is there something you're trying to tell me?
Very funny, Iris.
Only kidding. You don't look old enough to be a grandmother. That's why I keep forgetting.
Then I was aware of a van coming in, and I thought that because I parked at such an awkward angle, that he couldn't get to the diesel pump to fill up.
You say the sweetest things, Iris. But listen, I've got a dash. I'll talk to you later, though, okay?
Sure. Better move myself. Be swearing at me soon, him, if I don't let him into the pumps.
He was about 50 years old, with a round face and a full bushy brown beard flecked with grey. He appeared to be quite big and seemed to be wearing a waxed green jacket.
But he didn't look at me. His eyes were looking towards the road or Lynn's car. And I thought, funny thing.
And I remember it because it slowly reversed back towards me here and followed the Sierra down the road, yeah. Very, calculated.
Fireworks!
But there's loads of them in there.
Eric, no!
Right. Think I'll just take Jay for a walk.
She never wanted to celebrate her birthday because she never wanted to get older.
It seems like they come around quicker every year. Okay, Jay, let's stretch these legs of yours. Come on, girl. Come on. Won't be long.
Okay, bye. Jay was a rescue dog, and Mum loved her to bits.
This is a route which Linda Bryant took almost every day. Were you in Ruan High Lanes on Tuesday 3 weeks ago, where Linda walked down towards the Methodist chapel and then left towards Treviles.
I've done that walk with her quite a few times. Usually she forced me. But now I'd do anything to walk around there with her again.
And were you walking round there at roughly 2 o'clock that Tuesday afternoon? Was this you meeting Linda with her lurcher on the crossroads near the chapel?
At 2 o'clock I went up to get the cows out the field. There was nothing in the road, nothing opposite. There was nobody there. I've seen her walking her dog and I know she lived local. I only know her as Linda, as all.
At first I thought, no, they're lying. And it just dawned on me that they weren't. Night times is the worst. Through the daytime, there's usually at least one policeman, and at night time, when everybody's gone home, you're just sort of left to sit and think. It's a very strange feeling not having Mum there, because sometimes you just think that she's up in the other room or she's gone somewhere and you don't know when she's coming back.
Well, Chris Borland, this case has attracted a huge amount of publicity nationally, appalled everyone who's heard about it. Who are you appealing to tonight?
Well, Linda Bryant's killer is clearly a dangerous and violent man who has to be caught. My main appeal is to someone watching who perhaps either knows the killer or has suspicions about someone they live with or work with or live near to. Secondly, I'd like to hear from professional people, perhaps doctors or psychiatrists, who have or have had a patient that they think is probably capable of this violent crime.
Well, that plea certainly worked in the Michael Stone case. Now, ironically, it's the year's anniversary this weekend of the murder of Kate Bushell, and the two have been linked. Do you believe seriously that there are links between the two cases?
There are distinct possibilities that they are linked, and we're working closely with the Kate Bushell inquiry team. But I would stress that this also could be local in character.
Now, you have said, as we saw in the film, that there are a number of people you want to identify, particularly the man in that Maestro van, and I think you've got a bit more information since that film, haven't you?
Yes, we've had two important sightings on the Friday and the Saturday before Linda's death. Most important was a sighting on Saturday the 17th of October when the van was seen in the lay-by near to the Methodist church, very close to where her body was found.
And what about the other two? We saw a number of two other men in the film, but there are two that we didn't see who you'd like to eliminate as well, two other sightings of strangers, perhaps.
Yes, one was a man walking across a field in light clothing at about 3 o'clock away from the A3078, and we know that that's particularly unusual.
Now, her glasses went missing. You haven't found her glasses?
No, the glasses that were used in the reconstruction are identical to the ones that Linda wore on the day. They've not been found, so I'd like to hear from anyone who has any information about those.
What would you say to someone who is at home, who has an inkling, but who is afraid to call in?
Linda's family and the community around Roseland have been devastated by this crime. It's important we hear from anybody who's got any information at all. It's equally important that they don't just focus on the white van and the descriptions we've given, but on anyone that raises suspicions. We need to hear from them for any reason at all.
The man in the white van, do you believe that he is a strong suspect?
I think he is. He doesn't appear to be local. But if he isn't, we need him to come forward so we can eliminate him from the inquiry and we can concentrate on more important matters.
Chris Borland, thank you very much indeed. Well, please don't hesitate if you can help in any way. 0500 600 600 is our free call number to the studio. There are many detectives here and other officers are waiting on 01392 451 004. That's Exeter 451 004.
Okay, so the green icon is where Linda Bryant lived. The yellow line is the direction she took towards the Methodist church. The red pin is where the Methodist church is. The white arrow is where Linda's body was discovered. Now, I don't know whether Linda walks to the Methodist church, whether she stays on the yellow line, or she sweeps all the way around on the yellow and the red line on the route that she normally walks her dog. So this is where Linda was last seen about half an hour before her body was discovered, outside the Methodist church, speaking to an unknown man. So this is the direction she came from. This is where she was last seen, and down that lane is where her body was discovered. So what strikes me first about this case is how rural the area is. Nothing but small villages, fields and farmland. There's literally nothing going on here. And I know murder is murder, but for me there's something more sinister when murders, unsolved murders, are committed in such rural settings. It's almost as if crime ain't supposed to happen in the countryside, let alone a brutal stabbing down a country lane.
Her glasses went missing. You haven't found her glasses?
No, the glasses that were used in the reconstruction are identical to the ones that Linda wore on the day. They've not been found, so I'd like to hear from anyone who has any information about those.
So when Linda's body was discovered in November 1998, her glasses were not at the scene. You see, the lead detective in the Crimewatch appeal asked for information about the glasses. 4 months after Linda's murder, in February 1999, her glasses reappeared at the murder scene.
Another issue in this case is that on the 2nd of February 1999, some months after the murder, the same farmer that had discovered Lynn's body with the lady in her car found a pair of glasses in the same gateway of the field. Those glasses were subsequently identified as being Lynn's glasses. Now, I know that area, that crime scene, was searched to a fingertip search. It's very unlikely that those glasses were missed in that search. So why were those glasses back in that field some months later in a position where they could only have been for a short period of time because they were on top of the mud? How did those glasses get put back there?
So just think about that for a second. This man has committed a murder, taken a trophy with him in an isolated area, then returned to that isolated area 4 months later and placed Linda Bryant's glasses back at the murder scene. From my research, the police had a camera at the scene, but the tape had run out, because the police know that in these type of murders, the murderer likes to return back to the scene because they get some type of thrill out of it. They get to relive the experience. So this guy kept the glasses for 4 months without fear of the police linking him to the murder, and he actively brought the glasses back to the scene. So essentially he's mocking the police.
The weapon that was used on Lynn has never been found. All indications are that it was a single-edged blade of around 3 to 5 inches long, around 10 to 14 centimetres, probably a penknife or a small kitchen knife. There was an intensive forensic examination of the scene at the time, and an intensive search that carried on for a number of days, weeks and months. What the investigation team did find was a number of blue fibres left over Lynn's body. It's a fair conclusion that those fibres were left by Lynn's attacker. Back in 1998, the National DNA database was really in its infancy. It hadn't been used for very long in the criminal justice system. However, as we've progressed through the years, we have looked at exhibits again and seen whether we can use new techniques to try and move a case forward. And that's exactly what we've done with the murder of Lynn Bryant. So in doing that, we sat down closely with a forensic scientist and the investigation team, and we began to resubmit key exhibits that had been found in this case. We began to find common elements of DNA. So the work that we've undertaken now gives us the opportunity to look at that partial DNA profile. We believe that partial DNA profile has been left by Lynn's attacker, and we can use that to try and identify him.